What's up, guys? Welcome to Don't Fake the Funk, MMA Vista, episode number 4, on this Monday, September 22nd, 2014. So this past weekend we had a UFC event in Japan, main evented by Mark Hunt against Roy Nelson. And I'm sure most of you who are listening to this sort of fight, and yeah, how impressive is Mark Hunt's power? I mean, Roy Nelson has been finished by Andrei Arlovski, but it wasn't like that, like a one-punch knockout. And Roy Nelson's known for his great chin. He got beat up by Junior Dos Santos, Stipe Miocic, Fabricio Verdum. They couldn't put him away. And Mark Hunt just connected with one uppercut, and Roy Nelson fucking face planted. So really crazy to see, and shows how hard Mark Hunt really hits, and also his superior striking compared to Roy Nelson was really obvious in that fight. So real quick, what's next for Mark Hunt? Possibly, I think it's very possible that they match him up with Andrei Arlovski, who just had a big KO win as well against Bigfoot Silva. So they might set this fight up, because in the heavyweight division, just to give a quick overview, there's Alistair Overeem against Stefan Struve is announced, Junior Dos Santos against Stipe Miocic, Brandon Sharp against Travis Brown, and just recently Matt Mitrione against Gabriel Gonzaga was announced. So there's pretty much what makes most sense for Mark Hunt now is Andrei Arlovski, in my opinion. It would be a great fight as well. Both really good strikers. Problem is that Andrei Arlovski doesn't have that great of a chin, so yeah, we'll see. But I kind of feel like they're gonna set this fight up, and I think it's a really good fight and makes sense. So now a quick preview of UFC 178 this upcoming Saturday. Really great card. Finally, a great pay-per-view card again. And even though John Jones was against Daniel Cormier isn't happening on this card because of Jones' injury, it's still a good card, especially the main card. It's really stacked. Really great names and good matchups. So I'm just gonna go through the main card fights and give my predictions and break it down a little bit. First fight on the main card, Tim Kennedy against Yoel Romero. Tim Kennedy. Yeah, he's been looking very good in the UFC. He's 3-0 now in UFC, won against Roger Gracie in his debut, then KO'd Rafael Natal at UFC Fight for the Troops, and then recently, about 5 months ago, he dominated Michael Bisping in a 5-round decision win. So he's been looking very good. His grappling especially, really, in the Bisping fight, very good. Gotta say it. And he's fighting Yoel Romero, the Cuban-American Olympic wrestler. I'm not sure if he won a medal or whatever, but yeah, he's an Olympic wrestler. Really physical, strong guy, fucking beast. And he's 4-0 in UFC with three knockout wins and 1 decision. His last win was against Brad Tavares, a decision, but before that 3 KO wins. So yeah, he's physically just a fucking beast, Yoel Romero, and very explosive. He has a lot of power in his punches, and I feel like Tim Kennedy might be a little more technical with his striking, and probably also a little better jiu-jitsu if he gets top control. You know, Tim Kennedy is a legit black belt, so he's very good if he gets you on the ground in top position and stuff. So he's definitely legit. But I just feel like Yoel Romero is just such a powerhouse, and especially if Kennedy chooses to grapple with him, I feel like Romero has the tools to win this fight. Maybe not a finish, but I see it playing out like Romero winning the first 2 rounds, then maybe getting a little bit tired, and Kennedy might win the third round. So it's, yeah, you know, a 2-1 for Romero. My pick in this fight is Yo Romero by decision. Then let's go to the next one. Dominic Cruz, you haven't heard that name in a long time, against Takeya Mitsugaki. Dominic Cruz making his comeback after, let's see, oh my god, after almost 3 years. His last fight was at UFC Live in October of 2011. He won a decision against Demetrius Johnson, defended his belt. He injured his, he tore his ACL twice. He tore it, then recovered, and almost recovered, he tore it again. So he has been out for a long time. Now making his comeback, not getting a title shot right away, which in my opinion is a good idea, just to help him get back on track in such a long time, such a long layoff. It's crazy. Gonna be interesting to see how he can bounce back. He's fighting Takeya Mitsugaki, who's on a winning streak. Let's see, 5-fight winning streak. Only decisions, no finishes, so he's not really a finisher, so to say. But yeah, he's very well-rounded, solid ground game, solid striking. But I feel like even though Dominic Cruz has been out for so long, I think he could still keep his footwork and movement and solid striking. Also, he combines his striking very well with his grappling, his wrestling, and shoots for takedowns when people don't expect it. And he's very fast, and his footwork makes it so hard to predict what he's gonna do next. So I feel like, yeah, Dominic Cruz is gonna win this one by decision. Looking pretty good. I think he's gonna look good. I'm not really a fan of Dominic Cruz, but yeah, I just feel like he can bounce back and still not be that affected by the long layoff. Maybe he's gonna win a decision in this one, I think. Next fight on the card is, oh my god, Dustin Poirier against Conor McGregor. I just said earlier on Twitter, I can't fucking wait for this fight. I just watched the countdown for this fight, and I'm really pumped for this fight. This is a really great matchup. Two really kind of similar guys who go out there and just, you know, very intense guys. And Dustin Poirier, he's been looking very good in the UFC. He's in the UFC now for 3 years. Had a lot of fights in UFC. Only 2 losses against the Korean Zombie. Korean Zombie submitted him, but that was 2 years ago. And then last year, in February last year, he lost the decision against Cub Swanson. So yeah, he's really a top guy in the featherweight division. I really like his style. Very well-rounded, solid striking, and also his ground game. I really like it. He's good off his back, always threatening with triangle chokes, arm bars, and he has this really sick from the half guard, this really sick Bravo choke, Darce choke. Yeah, he's solid on the ground. Very well-rounded guy, very aggressive. He can put it on against his last 2 fights actually, against Diego Brandao and against Akira Karasani. He just, from 1 second to the other, he like switched up 2 gears and then just put it on his opponent and finished him. You know, it's very impressive to see. And he's fighting probably one of the biggest stars right now in UFC, out of Ireland, Conor McGregor. He's a fucking phenom, you know. He has only 3 fights in UFC right now, but he's a fucking huge star, you know. He's just talking a lot of shit, which is actually pretty funny sometimes. Shit he talks about, calling Dustin Poirier P-head. Yeah, but the thing is, he backs it up, you know. In his last fight against Diego Brandao, he predicted a first round knockout, and he said he's gonna break him down with each punch. Diego Brandao is gonna fade, and he's gonna put him away in the first round. That's what he did. So he delivers. He's a shit talker. He talks a lot of crap, but he's really confident. It doesn't seem fake at all. It's just how he thinks about himself. Maybe a little bit exaggerated at some points, but he really believes he's the greatest, I think. And I mean, he could be. If he beats Dustin Poirier, I see it as a possibility that they give him a title shot against the winner of Jose Aldo against Chad Mendes. I mean, McGregor is a superstar, and how big would a fight against Jose Aldo be? That would be a huge fucking fight, man. So this matchup here, really tough to predict. Both are solid strikers, but I see McGregor a little bit more technical. And my prediction here is that Conor McGregor is gonna pick Poirier apart and just be very quick with his striking, in and out, lots of angles, kicks, probably a lot of kicks too. And I feel like he's gonna pick Poirier really apart in the stand-up with striking. And I think McGregor's gonna finish him in the second round, a TKO for McGregor, which would be fucking huge. I mean, either way, the winner of this fight is gonna gain a lot. It's a really big test for McGregor, and if Poirier beats McGregor, he's gonna beat the, very hyped new superstar in the UFC. So that's a huge fight for both guys. But my prediction, Conor McGregor by TKO in the second round. Then let's go to the co-main event. Donald Cerrone, Cowboy Cerrone, against Eddie Alvarez. Alvarez making his debut in the UFC after a long career in Bellator, where he wasn't that happy. Bjorn Rebney didn't let him out of his contract and stuff like that, and he got fucked over there a little bit, I think. And his last fight was against Michael Chandler, a very great fight. He won the title against Michael Chandler at Bellator, which was about a year ago. Then he was supposed to fight Chandler for a third time, but he got injured. So he's been out for a while. He's recovered now. Finally get out of Bellator. Scott Coker, the new president at Bellator, let him go. He's finally in the UFC now, which I think is a great addition to the lightweight division, because Alvarez is really a legit fighter. Very exciting, solid striking. Kind of like this little bit brawler, maybe like brawling style, and on the inside a lot with his punches, Yeah, but he's very exciting. I'm glad he's in the UFC finally. He's going against Donald Cerrone, who's been on a great winning streak so far. He won 4 in a row. His last loss was against Rafael dos Anjos, who just knocked out Ben Henderson. In August last year, he lost the decision against Rafael dos Anjos, and since then he won against Evan Dunham by triangle choke, Adriano Martins by vicious head kick, Edson Barboza by first round submission rear naked choke, and then he recently just beat the fuck out of Jim Miller and knocked Jim Miller out. Jim Miller has never been knocked out before, and Cerrone knocked him the fuck out with a head kick and followed up with some punches. So a 4-fight winning streak for Cerrone. This is also a very tough fight to predict, because we don't really know how good Alvarez is. We can't really judge. He's been in Bellator, he fought Chandler, who's a legit guy, but other than that, he hasn't fought great competition really. It's kind of hard to judge, but I think Cerrone's on such a streak now and so on fire. He's been really looking good, mentally also really focused, and he's not getting overwhelmed anymore. In fights before, he let his opponent pressure him too much, I think, and he got overwhelmed and just couldn't get into the fight. The last 4 fights he's been looking really good, and he's also the taller guy, more reach. He has more weapons in the stand-up, I think, with his kicks too. So I think Cerrone's gonna be able to keep it on the outside and land a lot of kicks maybe. Yeah, and kind of frustrate Alvarez a little bit. Won't let Alvarez get inside. That would be, I imagine that would be his game plan, because if he lets Alvarez get inside and connect to a lot of punches, he might get overwhelmed again, like against Rafael dos Anjos and Nate Diaz. And yeah, he doesn't want that. So my pick in this fight is Cerrone by decision. It could be close, could be close fight, but all in all, I think Cerrone will be able to keep Alvarez on the outside most of the time with kicks, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if Alvarez maybe tries to take Cerrone down, maybe even only to score some points, to win a round. But Cerrone is so good on the ground off his back with triangle chokes, arm bars, even sweeps, that I think this fight will go mostly on the feet and Cerrone winning by decision. Now, real quick, the main event. Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson against Chris Carriazo. They're kind of weird that Carriazo's fighting for the belt, but they just put him in there. It's kind of waiting on what's gonna happen with Ian McCall and Gary Lineker. I think they're gonna be next, but yeah, I'm not really that interested in that fight because Carriazo doesn't seem like a legit threat to Demetrius Johnson, in my opinion. Johnson just way too quick, way too good on his feet, way too in and out, and just too fucking good. With his striking, so precise and quick, and he's so hard to hit too. He's always moving. It's hard to catch him. Also, he's also a very good wrestler. If Carriazo does have some success in the stand-up, Johnson has always the possibility to just try to take Carriazo down, and I think he'll be able to if he wants to. So I think Carriazo has no chance really, and Mighty Mouse will win a decision there, 5-round decision. Maybe even a finish, who knows, but going with Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson by decision in this one. Alright, then yeah, that's pretty much all, right? And see you next time on Don't Fake the Funk MMA Vista. This is gonna be on iTunes as well. It's gonna be up soon, so thank you for listening. Bye bye.